You are up for another spectacular mathematical video. This one I'm sure you're going to want to write home about. It is probably top 10 of my favorite all-time videos to make. And since I don't make many videos, that's saying a lot. So here we go. What you're going to want to do is take out your notes or start a new notes. I guess you could call it under that same thing of multiplying polynomials, but if you just want to write it maybe under binomials, well, let's do it under polynomials, I guess. Why not? Polynomials, subheading, binomials. Well, subheading, I guess, first of all, multiplying. Subheading, binomials. And then subheading would be, ladies and gentlemen, special cases. Much like most of the 8th graders, special cases. All right. Actually, some of this is just simply logic, but I'm going to tell you this is where people kind of go wrong. So I think the book makes a big deal about it because so many people do this incorrectly. Okay. First of all, remember FOIL. Keep that in the back of your minds because it comes up a lot today. Okay. Example, special case number 1. If you have x plus 3 squared. Okay, please get it out of your mind that the answer to this would be x squared plus 9. That, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to put the biggest, fattest X I can over that. Please don't think that. That's way too easy. It's just not the way it works. What you need to do when you come up with x plus 3 squared is really write that out as 2 binomials. What is x plus 3 times x plus 3? If you use FOIL, believe it or not, you do get an x squared and you do get a 9 in there, but you also get a middle term. If I do the first terms, x times x gives me that x squared. If I do the outside terms and I add the inside terms to it, both of them end up being 3x. So 3x plus 3x is 6x. And if you do the last term, which is the last thing you do in FOIL, you end up with 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is x plus 3 squared, not this. You do have an x squared, you do have a 9, but there's also going to be a middle term. And while we're at it, we might as well do one that has a minus sign for the middle. What if it's x minus 2 squared? Again, the answer to that is not going to be x squared plus 4. You actually have to do this out as x minus 2 times x minus 2. And if you do that FOIL-wise, again, I'm going to start doing these a little faster. If you don't catch on, you might want to just review it and keep going over it again. The first terms give you x squared. The middle term, when you do the outside, which is negative 2x, and the inside, which is negative 2x, you get a negative 4x. And your last term, when you multiply the negative 2's together, you get plus 4. So, shazam. You've been forewarned about this whole thing. Sometimes if you think it's too easy, it probably is. You know what else they also do? I guess I haven't, I don't remember this coming up, but I see it in the book here, so I will do one more. What if it's this? 2x plus 3 squared. Again, your answer is not going to be 4x squared plus 9. But I don't remember us ever doing one that had a coefficient in front of that x. So let's just talk about that. What will this look like? You'll have 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. And I will do this one just a touch bit more slowly. Slowly. Okay. In FOIL, the two first terms, a 2x times a 2x is 4x squared. Okay, the outside terms, 2x times 3 is 6x. and the inside term is another 6x. You put those two 6x's together, you get 12x, and you put plus 3 or times plus 3 or positive 3 times positive 3 is 9. I don't remember us ever getting, maybe it was in your assignment, ever getting a number in front of the x squared, but it's just that easy there. Now the other thing, special case number 2, lest you thought we were done, under binomial, under the same thing here is this. Something to watch out for. If you have a binomial, let's say x plus 5 multiplied by a x minus 5, notice the similarities here. They're really the same, except one has a positive, one's a plus 5, one's a minus 5. When that happens, when everything else except those two middle signs are the same, let's just take a quick look. This is something you can recognize here. Doing FOIL again, the first terms again give me x squared, but what happens on this, something that you can talk to your parents about, if you do the outside terms, you get minus 5x. If you do the inside terms, you get plus 5x. And guess what? A minus 5 and a plus 5 gives you nothing. You get no middle term. But you do get that last term when it's 5 times negative 5, which is negative 25. Okay, so the special case that they're trying to get at to you is if you have two binomials times themselves, x plus 8 times x minus 8, if they have opposite signs, one's addition, one's subtraction, you will get no middle term because the outer terms and the inner terms will cancel each other out. For example, in this, you're just going to get x squared minus 64. No middle term because you get a minus 8x and you get a plus 8x, and those are going to cancel each other out. So you actually multiply two binomials together and you'll get a binomial. How about that? And that would even be the case if it was something like we just talked about before, where you had like 3x minus 2 times 3x plus 2. These binomials are identical except for one's minus, one's plus. That means there will be no middle term. You will just get a first term, which would be 9x squared. You will get a last term, which is the two last things, which is minus 4. But there will be no middle term because the outer term would give you positive 6x and the inner term would give you minus 6x, and those would cancel each other out. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this installment of, boy, I'm sure glad we get to watch math videos in extension class. I appreciate you sticking by. If you have any comments at all, keep them to yourself. Appreciate it, and I will see you probably later in the day or sometime. Have a great day.